Proxy Table Gaming PTG. I am Hyper G. He is Lucky Sixes.
I am Lucky Sixes.
Don't we know it? And I sound lovely because I've got a cold, but maybe you find that enjoyable, viewers. I don't know.
It's sexier. We're going down the sexy route of
Exactly. And
heavy
we both had
breathing.
haircuts as well, so that's good.
Right.
I just need to get rid of the beard, make myself a little bit more trim now, but not quite as well groomed as Lucky Sixes as always.
I know I haven't. I've let myself go.
As if. Anyway, let's talk about what we're here for today. Another battle report. Yay! They keep on coming.
They do, and now it's this time it is me versus Jack.
Yes.
Couldn't make this one today, but
same opponent.
Slightly different list from his point of view, but not too different.
Okay.
But yeah, and I'm in an R-in actually on what to use for tech in a few weeks' time. I've got a poll on Twitter.
You have, yeah.
If anybody would like to go over there, follow me, please, friends. There's a poll currently running. Do I take this list, or warriors at least, or do I take vampires? So I managed to get a few practice games in with warriors, but I've also got a practice game with vampires coming as well. So it's all a bit I don't know what to take. Is honestly it's 50-50 for me. So I'm leaving it up to Twitter.
Just go Sylvan Elves and
decide.
With it.
I know, yeah. Right. It's 2 weeks of heavy painting though that I could not do.
That's very true. Very true. And model purchases.
I've got a decent amount actually, a surprising amount.
Have you? Now?
I'll keep that under wraps, but that's for another time.
Oh well, spoiler alert there then.
Lucky
Sixes.
If you're still with us for a year, then fair enough.
That's ambitious. So I'll hold you to that.
Yeah. November 2022 it's on. But anyway,
I was going to give you 2028.
Okay, fair play. But anyway, here we are practicing one of the two choices anyway in my warriors list. Very similar to how it is before, models wise anyway. A few differences, so I've got a few less warriors, for example, and things like that. But here's my list. Chosen heavy, and I like fighty and stuff. Not many units, very elite, but tends to do the job more often than not.
Classic warriors.
Dwarves, not so classic, I guess, but does have two big blocks with a bit of shooting in and around it. The cannon I'm a bit scared of with my herald because it'll just light that thing up. Organ gun and some marksmen, some miners, and forge wardens, which is interesting.
Yes, he's brought them in since the last game he had with me. He was saying that's the key to chameleons or elves, basically, is get yourself some forge wardens.
Always hit on a 2-up is pretty decent. So, and we had a good chat about forge wardens, whether they were just chaff eaters or not, and he was content that they were not at the end.
Well, sure. I mean, even if they are just chaff eaters, it's fine.
Obviously, runic standard dismay to minus some charging on them as well. So a lot of shooting, a lot of AP shooting as well. I guess apart from the forge wardens in this regard. So I was a little bit like, if I can get there, I should be okay. But then it's still Kingsguard, which are coming up more and more in dwarf lists as well. That I'm seeing.
Seems so.
And then obviously Bashy King, because he's cool.
And he swapped out the organ gun for the catapult. Catapult out, organ gun in, fair enough.
I don't like organ guns, but they are. Every dwarf player tells me they're a bit expensive for what they do. So but I still strength 5 AP 3, is it?
Something like that, yeah.
Don't like it. We played marching columns and hold the centre. Interesting for marching columns because I say my herald. That's pretty good for my herald because he can go anywhere. And otherwise, I've not got many units anyway, so it's just about me thinking about where I want them and stuff. So not too bad for me. And he's a dwarf, so he doesn't care. So he just goes in the corner. He just picks a corner anyway. So
exactly, yeah. That's what dwarves do.
Yeah. Deployment is thusly. We did 1-1-1, and then he went down first, jokingly, because that will stop my game.
Doesn't it always?
I
I
know.
mean,
So
it's going to become the reverse eventually.
I
Is
know.
people will let you go first because now you've adapted to not going
I've
first.
had so long going second. Yeah. So again, I chose this side because of Wasteland Torch, I guess. But yeah. I had a choice at the end. So that, the units wise, that was always pretty much going to be where they were. But the Herald was either going to go on either flank, basically. And I chose this flank because I could go against the hill, go behind the hill. The other side I did have an impassable, so that was still pretty good. But I wanted to be in the mix a little bit and over here.
Yep.
So that was my only real choice once we went down and down. I wanted to get Chosen versus his Kingsguard and my Warriors against his normal Greybeards. I thought that was a good match, like 1-on-1. That was pretty good matchups.
Yeah.
And I lined it up nicely enough, so I was pretty happy. I didn't really know what to do with the Dogs and the Fallen other than just to stop my Chosen getting shot left, right and centre from the organ guns.
That's all they need to do.
That's what I did. There's some close-ups of a very nice army.
I'm surprised you didn't deploy your main warrior block for hold the centre, just to stick them on it.
There was a bit of thought behind that, but I thought my Chosen are going to take a while to get there, so I'm pretty sure I'm going to go up on the objective because he's not coming towards me. But it's whether or not it's basically I want to engage him as quick as possible because I'm warriors. Yeah. And if I survive and or win those combats, I will win the objective. If I lose, I lose, he'll probably have enough time to at least draw or win. So it's gonna be on that Kingsguard thing anyway. And I think while I'm running up, I will get ahead. So that's the only reason why, because my Chosen can anyway, and that's where they'll be going. But my Chosen Knights, if I need to, will veer a bit more in.
Sure.
So close-ups of his army, not the best. My camera's being a bit dodgy in a minute. I'm looking to change my phone to get a better camera. So if anybody wants to put in the comments any suggestions for a decent phone,
or just wants to send Lucky Sixes a new phone.
That would be really good. I am looking at upgrading and stuff. So and my camera is my main thing. So bear with us for the next. Hopefully before tech. That's my plan. To get some decent stuff. So, but yeah, if anyone wants to suggest anything, then Android. I'm an Android man. Really, but anyway, some close-ups. Bought from Mikey Newman and adapted by Jack, so they're pretty cool looking. So yeah, that's that. He starts off, gets Rune of Resilience on his organ gun. I think I let that one go because what am I going to do to that? And that's about it. He gets a few shots with his marksman on my Herald. I chose the +1 strength, AP, and Divine. I can't remember. I think it's Emissary of Chaos or something that was called. But that one because he's dwarves, right? So he's going to have. So that makes me strength 6 against res 4. So I always like to do that. But also the Divine means shield walls less effective, so I like that. And I also, because of the amount of shooting and a cannon especially, I chose the hard target one. That's normally, I think, going to be my setup. I know that there are other options and things, but I like the secondary ability of the hard target one in regaining wounds in combat. So being on this side, I'm going to take wounds. Again, it's whether I can survive the shooting on my way in, but if I do, I get into those clan marksmen, which I'm pretty happy I'm going to beat and start regaining wounds. Hopefully, if I can, go into the cannon as well. Again, with him always, if he survives, he'll get his money back because he takes so much effort, basically. But yeah, takes a wound there. I lose a Fallen, which isn't too bad. I think I get really lucky on the organ gun, and I lose, I want to say 2 wounds on my Chariot, which is cannon, which is a cannon, so not too bad in the end.
So I suppose the cannon couldn't see your Herald.
Cannon couldn't see the Herald, and
the marksman could because they were on the hill.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I don't. I think the Forge Wardens are out of range as well and didn't want to move forward. So
yeah, they're not huge range. Yeah,
that's their 1 week.
I think they're 18 inches, aren't they?
I think so. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
My turn. I move up.
Wow. Don't you?
Yeah. So I'm within 6 of the objective. So to get the 1-0 up, hopefully. Well, I will.
Well, it won't count for turn 1.
No. Yeah. True. But the dogs basically go in front of the organ gun to stop too much happening against my chosen knights. I know they can attack it, but it'll be a further -1, and that's the big crux of the organ gun. So I'm told.
Yeah, the hitting part. Yeah.
I move up as quickly as possible. I need to get in the mix.
Very much so.
And that's it for my turn.
that's one of the pros in your consideration for taking warriors to attack.
It will quicken up my play vastly, and I get more time for pitches and stuff. So warriors is more of a tournament, I guess, to create a thing, which would be really easy because I can be able to chat to everyone, take loads more pitches and stuff. But vampires is a different list altogether. So yeah. We'll see. Rune of Resilience on these guys because I'm coming in a bit.
You certainly are. Yeah.
He only moves over slightly. There's hardly any movement, which is why I'm not taking pictures because he's, if anything, wheeling and pivoting rather than moving. So classic dwarf. Gets Rune of Gleaming, which is
-1 to hit.
-1 to hit. So there you go.
Well, or is it? It might be phrased as distracting.
Yeah, and shooting, he gets 2 wounds off on the Herald because I've moved closer. 2 fallen, which again I'm pretty happy with actually. I think the organ gun goes for that. And 1 off on the chosen knights from the Forge Wardens. They did move like that. Yeah, they did move like that to go after the chosen, but then realise he's not on a hill. Yep, that's pretty much it. He gets his miners on as well, and goes.
Okay.
This is later on. We go. I forgot my miners, and I was like, "Nah, put them on." Which then I realised I got thrown weapons. And I was like, I should be a dick there.
Yeah. Did you let him shoot his throwing weapons?
Yeah, he did. But obviously, as always happens when you forget something, Karma says no wounds whatsoever. So,
yeah. No. You did the right thing by letting them come on.
Yeah. In my turn, I charge the marksman with my chap, which is good because I will probably win. I will probably regain a wound and all that jazz. But the bad side of being over this side is that I'm close to the miners, and that's why the miners have come on there. Because if I don't wipe through these now, you'll get a overrun. You'll get a charge into me. It's dwarves, so it's not guaranteed. Even though it's like 2 inches, but still, it's something to think about anyway. I moved the Fallen up to stop his king coming out. Not that he would, but just to make sure and to chaff the unit so that the King's Guard, if they want to go right, go left as you're looking at it, but to his right. And the dogs just carry on going up to chaff the Organ Gun and Forge Wardens. Where we are on the thing, which always happens, is where my chosen knights are, top right, just to get in the flank and to get a bit closer, really.
Could you not make the charge directly? Were you in the front?
So
only
I could have.
The dogs were in the way,
but the dogs would have maximised mostly, and that I don't want to suffer combat risk. So
no, and I suppose with Rune of Dismay as well, there's a chance that you might fail it anyway.
Yeah,
so get in the flank and make sure.
Yeah. So and it gives my a bit of time for my chosen chariot to walk up as well. So pretty happy. Again, chosen are 6 inches away and like that. So I've got a few. If he does go into my warriors, I've got counter charges and all that jazz. We get a load of spells off. So Word of Iron on my. So I go a larger Word of Iron on my warriors, which he lets off.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, well, immediately I'm pretty happy that he's not going to go into warriors.
Yeah.
I'm happy with that. I get, which means I get Alchemical Fire off on the Greybeards. So, again, I wouldn't like that combat if I was him, and I've got the Lord I'm happy. I also get Wrath of God down next to his organ gun and stuff. So again, I've only got my dogs there. I don't really care about them. So sorry, dogs. But yeah, so decent.
That's great.
Decent
Getting those
phase,
two
getting those
spells
two.
off.
Yeah.
Jack's dice failing him on the dispelling.
Yeah, I think he let Word of Iron go, and then I diced him on Wrath of God. Basically, is what happened.
And he has got the Rune of Denial still, I'm guessing.
Yes.
Or does he take him out?
He has. No, he has, and he's saved it.
Sure.
I forgot the attribute. What's the attribute for
guidance?
Yeah,
guiding light.
Guiding light. But I would have put it on the
Herald. Yeah. Just in case.
In combat, you can't really see, but I only do 3.
Spreading out his wings.
3 wounds. Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't suffer any, so I do win and I get 1 back, but it's not enough to stop his steadfast.
Sure.
Just 3 wounds is decent. I've got 6 attacks and a stomp, hitting on 2s, wounded on 2s. So 3 is a bit rubbish, but it still does.
It happens.
I would need to do 6 out of 7 to stop a steadfast. So anywhere up before 6 is the same result anyway. So
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those. If I have a really good one, 2s and 2s, don't roll a 1, then happy days. But he's has still got his armour and thing. It's just divine and that. So yeah. Move on to his turn. The obvious happens because I didn't move him, didn't run him away. He comes into me. So just see if I can do enough wounds to stop combat res now, which I sometimes can because I'm a high enough res for him to be hitting me on harder, but.
He's strength 5 on the charge, though, isn't he? So they could actually hurt him a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's not the best. He's got the marksmen are nothing now. I don't need to worry. So I need to put all my wounds over on this side. So if I get good dice, I'll stay there. And actually, it's not a bad place for me. I just need to stay now, basically.
Yeah, just keep combat res either drawn or winning.
Exactly.
Just blink away slowly.
Takes the chaff here. But otherwise doesn't charge anything else and moves as you can see. This is as good a movement as a picture, isn't he? And this is just more movement, an overview really of what he's done. Forge Wardens face the Chosen Knights just to get that done, but otherwise doesn't do too much in the way of movement. Gets Rune of Gleaming off again on the Clan Marksman because they're slightly easier to kill, I think.
Sure.
And Rune of Resilience, I want to say, on the Greybeards.
Warriors, yeah. I call them warriors every time, but they're Greybeards.
Yeah, they're the slightly better ones, I think.
The better ones, yeah.
So the Wrath of God comes down and kills my dogs before he can shoot
all
me.
of them.
Yeah. Does kill his organ gun, but does no other wounds anywhere.
Okay.
So it was
lethal.
A trade-off, which I would take that trade-off. But I did want to do some wounds elsewhere. Really, wasn't it? But I think he was just out of range. It rolled quite low, and it was just out of range of the anvil, which he moved. So.
Sure.
Yeah. His Forge Wardens do another 2 wounds to my Chosen Knights.
Okay.
Again,
they're AP 0, aren't they?
AP 0, so I mean, always hitting. So the idea was that Jack said is that they're 2 up, 5 up, I think they are, or 2 up, 6 up, or whatever it is. 2 up, 5 up in this case. And he's like, well, you would take a 5 up, 2 up.
Of course you would.
I guess it's just the AP, right? That is the big killer for them. That means they're not necessarily as good against other stuff other than chaff, but in terms of hitting and wounding, they're not actually stats-wise. They're not actually as bad as they seem.
Yeah,
being strength.
I think in retrospect with those model that unit, it's changed so much over the years that people remember previous iterations. And this feels like not as good as ones previously.
Sure,
but it's been a long time since
a different
they've been
role,
like this,
I guess.
so.
Right?
Exactly. Yeah.
This is showing his grudge, which have you got? But, so to speak. But also does a wound to my Chosen with the Marksman. Okay. That is.
Sure.
Ends up popping me through combat res. I only do 2 wounds to him. And pops me through combat res. Because of because that's the way.
Those miners, were they still equipped with paired weapons? The miners.
Can't remember right now.
Sure.
But yeah,
I mean, that's quite a lot of attacks coming in.
Yeah,
anyway.
they might have done it actually, but it was either. I mean, I only did 2 wounds to him out of 6, so as soon as I rolled my dice, I was like, it's over anyway. But it was either it probably a mixture of wounds and combat res that popped me.
Yeah.
The fallen die. Obviously,
Yep.
If anyone was hoping for that one, look at yourself.
Yeah. You've only got yourself to blame. You're looking forward to that.
So I'm in a position here.
You are.
Where I've got a few different charges and things to do. I need to regain some wounds because the Herald going down is quite a big thing. But obviously, his main thing that I want to find out is whether or not my army can take the King's Guard. He's stubborn, so I know this at this point. So it's what can I do to stop or to wipe him out? I have all my units are able to charge,
which is handy.
So I charge with everything.
Well, naturally.
Into him, and we'll talk about this.
So you ignore the forge one?
Yes, I charge everything into here.
Okay.
Flank charges, all that jazz. Let's see if my army can take on his King's Guard. Well,
yeah. I mean, I don't want to mention at this point. Temple Guard did it.
Temple Guard did it. Right.
On their own.
So I do this. We'll come back to this picture at some point because this is a good picture.
You've got a lot of choices there at the start of this turn. You've got a lot of choices. So,
but this is what I do. All right, come on. 3 units are chosen, and my chosen lord and warriors. Let's do this.
Yeah.
And it is very much let's do this. Let's have a bit of a play. But yeah, they all get in.
Good.
So
warriors, chosen lose a couple on the way in. And
this
is after combat.
After combat. So
I've just seen how many King's Guard are left.
Yeah.
Right,
so I don't take hardly any wounds really. The big thing is that my king and my lord are sort of together not in a challenge actually, but are next to each other. He does 3 to me, and I do none to him, which is like,
okay.
What? That's crazy. I couldn't quite. No, I'm not sure. But yeah, it was just relative fluff from each of us because I think he's got D3 wounds. And that was.
So was the 3 wounds you took? Was that from one wound multiplied?
Yeah. So one wound multiplied. But otherwise, not really many wounds done to me. I do a bunch to him, but he's stubborn.
Yes.
And he passes as stubborn.
Right, he passes this time, does he?
Yeah.
Okay, well. Oh man.
So that was interesting. There was a few other things that I thought I could do, but we'll come back to that later. The chosen knights are out of combat now.
Okay.
So because of their mark, I choose not to overrun or anything.
Envy.
And I'm not sure. Is it envy or gluttony?
It's
the one where they
envy,
gain a strength. Once if they don't overrun or pursue. So I do that and just turn to face Forge Wardens because that's what I'm going to do. Otherwise we remain in combat and that's where we are.
You are gluttony on your knights,
so so this is me saying that I could have done this but I chose not to because of the thing.
Right.
So we end up going back.
I think that's the right move anyway, even without that factor.
Yeah. I will end up changing my ranks on my warriors to go 5 wide so that my lord is over that side as well. Again, not in a challenge. And my chosen...
I suppose he would have shuffled a little way thanks to make way anyway, but just didn't move him.
I didn't move him. He moved over so that he'd be in the combat and then got
now you're moving
got spanked basically. But so the other thing I could have done was move him right over even one more to go against the Thane, I think. But
might not have been allowed to, depending on how many models were in combat.
That sort of
thing.
That jazz. So, yes. So anyway, but he goes. I now go 5 wide with my warriors with him on the side, in case anybody wants to come in because they're flank anyway.
Yes. Yeah.
I get a flank, and I believe, I think it's 2 flanks, but it could be a rear. We'll see in a sec. And they charge you. The Forge Wardens charge me.
Don't see why not. It gives them extra strength and AP on the charge.
So that was interesting. I didn't expect this.
Okay.
I thought he was just going to stand there and shoot me and take it, but he didn't.
I suppose he's got to the stage now where he's so close that the Rune of Dismay isn't even going to help.
Yes.
He can't stand and shoot either.
Yeah.
So, or can he stand? No, he can't stand and shoot even being sturdy.
Yeah, I'm movement 8.
Exactly.
Well,
so he may as well benefit from the +1 charge.
Yeah, it gets Rune of Resilience and Rune of what's I say? Something off on the Forge
I
Wardens.
don't know.
I think it's hard target and
Rune of
whatever.
It's not gleaming.
Rune of Dwarf shit.
Exactly. I was going to say Rune of Dwarf.
But it doesn't with the charges doesn't get in with his minors. I should say.
Oh, okay. Well, that's a bonus.
But yeah, so that's magic. On to combat, I wipe the floor. It's not.
I was going to say,
it's not even. I was surprised. It wasn't close. But he does stick because of stick. No, does he stick? He sticks for some reason.
Yeah, it might be Rune of Oaths.
FYI,
Yeah, sure.
But anyway.
But yes, but he sticks.
Okay. I mean, did you just drop your models on the table at this point?
Yeah. I think that was like a double 1 actually. I've got a feeling that was a double 1. But
because he wanted him in steadfast.
Yeah. It was really low and he stuck. But so fair play.
Yeah.
The Rune of Oaths is
on
reroll
to combat, and I completely lied. The miners got in. So I end up killing his what they're called, Kingsguard.
Kingsguard, yeah.
First thing, the Chosen and stuff, I have literally no problem whatsoever killing his things. The Warriors, however, get punked to bits, and I do maybe 3 wounds to the Greybeards through the Lord, which is cool. He doesn't do any wounds to my Lord, but does kill my Sorcerer in a challenge, and the wounds suchly. And that and combat res means I'm down to a double 1 on everything, which is.
Okay. I guess really you didn't have many dwarfs to kill. That was your issue, wasn't it?
Yeah, I guess. And it would have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think he only did 1 this turn. 8, 9. So he did 9, and I did 3, 6, 9, 11. So I won combat res in terms of that.
Yeah, but then he's got rear, flank, charge, big flank, big rear. Yeah.
So just combat res I think is up like static by about 12 or something like that. But it means I'm on a double 1 or a 3. And I end up fleeing. And this my Warriors get punked. My Chosen get punked.
You'd expect so. Yeah.
And my
Chariot
gets away, and this is all that's left of my army because of it.
In this picture, yeah.
So not good really. This is an overview, and I think if we go back to this picture, this was the picture that got put on our MK group with the annotation from Jack saying "moral victory" already.
Yeah.
A Chosen chariot is fleeing from a few little dwarves.
Absolutely, yeah.
Overview.
None of us knew the context of it.
I know. The Chosen Knights finish off them in my turn and just look towards the anvil.
Yep.
The Chosen Chariot turns around to face its doom. The miners move up to. So I think I'm 1-0 up on the objective.
Yeah,
but this
just
is
1-0
like
from turn 2.
Turn 4, I think now. So he will, because I lost combat, he will just get out with the miners. Fine.
Yeah, this would be bottom of the floor. Yeah.
Yeah. Rune of Gleaming off on the anvil, just because.
Why not?
He's now facing backwards with his greybeards. The king kills him on his own. No problem with the chariot. I charge into the anvil, hoping to get in and overrun. Just survive.
Get off the balls.
After combat, I only do 3 wounds to him.
Yeah.
Which is a bummer.
Surprisingly resilient, that anvil.
Which is inevitable, really. That he takes a long charge with his king I think, and the auto charge with the greybeards.
Of course.
Doesn't get in with the king, but hey.
But it doesn't need to. Yeah.
Yeah. A few magics down, and I die.
Yes.
It was interesting though. The 5/6s, the Ninja dice and the England Lions dice there, were his armor saves. His Aegis saves.
It's a bit frustrating when someone does that, isn't it?
Yeah, that was cool.
How did you feel?
I was like, oh, at least I'll get the anvil points, and he rolled 5, and he was like, we were like this for like 5 seconds each other. That was cool.
Does he know who you are?
I know, right? I feel, but no, yeah. A really, really good game. Carnage throughout, but in the end, a big win for the Dwarves. Not often you will see my warriors get 20'd. We counted them by 200 points, I think it was. But I don't have anything left on the table, and he smashed me up. So. It was really fun, really good game, really good, nice to get Jack down the club as well, which we want to do a bit more. Happy days. We will go back. Bear with the flashing of pictures now.
Ignore.
To this one. So
yes,
a few things I could have done. I definitely wanted the Chosen in the front, and I definitely wanted the Chariot in the flank. The Chosen Knights in the flank wasn't a terrible idea. I would lose some attacks because of how big they all were. I think I lost one of the units because of the Chariot and that. But the Chariot's not going to do anything else in this game, and if he doesn't get in, he just gets shot. So those two for sure. The Chosen Knights, you could argue, could go in the Forge Wardens now, but there is still a bit of distance between him, and Rune of Dismay could cause that. So actually, it worked out the same distance. Getting into both, and I've got a rank, so at least that stops him getting ranks, whatever. But he is in Horde already, so it's one of them, right? So could argue that the big thing for me, and we talked about this afterwards, was if I don't put my warriors in, then they can stop any counter charges coming from the left side, and if I can get, it literally doesn't matter. How I position myself. If my Chosen go in, then my warriors can do it so that they face all of everything on the left and stop a charge going into my Chosen, which means I've got all my Chosen units against the hammerers. Not called that. Yeah. What they're called? Kingsguard. Which we saw did a bunch of wounds. My warriors and Lord didn't do any wounds in that combat. So actually, all the damage was done by the Chosen and things. I would have had more attacks on my Chosen, so I would have lost more of them, to be fair. So I might not have grinded as well. But if we say, looking at the carnage that happened, I could afford 4 or 5 more wounds on my Chosen. You could. Because I think the front rank alone.
So you sacrificed what? Would that be 12 attacks from your Chosen? Or
no, so I had
6?
3. I think it was just 6. I think everything.
Fair enough.
That one without the champion.
It's diagonal. Yeah.
It's diagonal. Yeah, and I had a bit of space in between, as you can see.
But 6 attacks from Chosen.
Yeah. So exactly. So I would have had more attacks. Maybe killed, let's say, 3 more with that. Yeah. Which meant he has less attacks.
Maybe you didn't have the room. There doesn't look a lot of room between the Greybeards and your warriors.
Yes. In terms of that, I think so. Just not putting them in at all and getting them so that they're about here.
Maybe you could.
Just basically enough to stop this frontage from coming in to my Chosen, which I think would have been easy enough, especially if I could swift reform and move. For example.
Did you lose Res 5 by making the charge?
No, that was exactly 10.
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
That wasn't a problem.
So that wasn't a problem, and probably meant that he did less wounds to me and things. But so that was, for me, I was thinking, should I put them all in? But the chance of putting them all into one unit was too big a draw for me. And practice game, wanted to see what it was. Jack was saying that actually it's not foregone conclusion in the middle. if I don't put them in and stuff and have a bit of time, he said that I might not grind through. So I don't know. He knows numbers better than me, so there is that.
Could you have declined the charge with the Chosen, moved them back to the objective to make it 2-0, and then did you have a flank on the miners with the warriors, or not?
Don't know. I'd never even looked, to be quite honest.
Or even just the Lord on his own. You could have charged the Lord on his own.
I mean, a much more pragmatic approach is to do that.
Sure.
I wouldn't have put any of the others in. So you'd be looking at the Chosen Knights into the Forge Wardens
to kill them,
Chosen
and then the
back
Anvil,
2.5 inches.
Yeah.
See, and just buffing up the Chosen.
I mean, it is defensive in a Warriors list, which isn't really the way you're meant to do it. But I would could maybe consider that.
I could also have put the Chosen Lord on his own into the miners.
Yes.
Would be other things.
He
could flee.
Be my suggestion, yeah.
He could flee, so there's that thought as well. And if I flee that way, then I'm dead anyway, right? But I was there to go gung ho, and I wanted to see. I'm pretty happy with how everything did against the Chosen. I think the Lord. I think on hindsight, the Lord being on that side is a mistake, as well.
For you.
Yeah,
right.
From my point of view. So if he's on the other side, he can go against normal Kingsguard, which with 6 or 7 attacks could do another 3 or 4.
The unit, they won't even get bodyguard. Yeah.
So and he could go in on his own as well, and not have the issues. I could still chaff with the warriors as well. So if I can take the whole right side and chaff the left hand side, it's just a matter of time, I think.
Yeah.
But I decided to go all in and lost. So
it happens.
Cheers, Jack, for the game. The last 2 games have been 20-0 to him. I need to buck my ideas up. The last one was Vampires versus my High Elf.
Yeah, on Warhol. Yeah, it was.
Which I thought
I
thought that was a good matchup for me as well. So he's 20-0 me left, right, and centre, absolutely schooling me.
Yeah, well, it's Jactics, isn't it? You know, some people just got it.
Jactics, mate. That's why we've got it, and some Jactics to come, he says.
Good. Looking forward to them.
So but yeah, good game, and we move on to the next, which is me v you actually.
Yeah, it's kind of like the 3-way actually, because I play against your Warriors. Yeah, so we've actually done a triangular league, the 3 of us.
Without
unintentionally.
Yeah.
But it's me versus my Saurians versus your Warriors.
Yeah, so we'll have that, and then we've got a few more testing ones before Tech, which is very, very soon. So stay tuned. Like, share, subscribe, and all that jazz. We don't often say it, but if you can like it, it does make a big difference in the YouTube algorithms and all that jazz. So just it's one click for you, and it means a lot to us.
Forever love from us.
Love. So if you can do that, it's really appreciated. And so, like I said, go on Twitter. We often have polls and different things, and share lots of different things from all around Ninth Age, Warhol, Veil of the Ages, all that stuff. Go on there. Go on Facebook.
Got some exciting stuff going on with Veil of the Ages, actually.
We have.
Yeah. An Essence tournament.
Definitely go on Facebook in particular to check out all that stuff.
We're Team England, actually.
We're Team England, which has caused upset in the Team England camp, by the way. I know,
but it's not really Team England because we're against each other.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure how that works, but yeah, we're the new Team England guys.
But yeah, for more information on that, go on Veil of the Ages Facebook. Check us out, interact, engage, like, share, subscribe, comment. There's loads of things on this. What I could have done better in this scenario. What would you have done? And what phone I should get is another thing.
Or just send a flipping phone.
Just send me a phone,
send him a phone, any phone.
Come on. But yeah.
Great. So we'll see you for the next one, people.
See you later.